$25, make it hurt.
Hi, this is MajahPoint, and we have a trigger warning. In this episode, we speak on some sensitive topics, such as sexual assault, sexual violence. We respect everyone's experiences and traumas. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and know that we deeply care about you.
Hey guys!
It's MajahPoint!
Welcome back to episode, I think 3.
I think it's 3.
3 or
We never know what episode it is.
we're just here and we're happy to be here. My name is Brittany M and I'm with
Tasha J, and
we
we're
are
MajahPoint. I like that part.
That sounded like the Mario movie.
Yeah.
The audio.
That movie was
funny.
so cute.
I loved every second
it.
of
Was
it.
cute. I feel like it went by too fast though.
Really? I thought it was a
I
good amount of
I
time.
blinked and it was done. I was like, oh,
I thought it was
I
a good
wanted a
amount
little
of time.
more.
I loved it. I
it was
loved it.
cute.
And it had a lot of like cut scenes at the end.
Yeah, it did. It did. Peaches, peaches, peaches. I
No,
love
like
it.
at the end, like they had the credits ending scene, and then they had like one at the end with when he was singing about
Yeah.
Peaches, and then they had a one with Yoshi.
Yeah.
At the very end, I was literally like rushing my man out. I'm like, can we go? Like, what? He was like, because it was. I'm thinking it's over,
No.
and it wasn't over. But
now I sit through the credits because I feel like movies nowadays, like they really have these little gems afterwards
not all
now.
of them, though.
Not all of them, but I've realized some of them do, especially like the action ones
Mhm.
and animations.
Mhm.
They have like a little gem at the end. So I'm like, let me just sit for a little bit just to see, because I hate when I miss it.
I only do that for Marvel movies. If
Oh,
it's not
Marvel?
a Marvel movie, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, because
If I missed it, I missed it.
they're infamous for the
Yeah.
they're
Other
infamous
if
for
I
that.
miss, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to another episode. We're so happy to be here and so happy to share with you guys our new topics.
Yay!
How you doing, Tasha?
I am doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. And work is kicking my ass, but I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent. I don't know why I'm staring at you with
Yeah,
a
you're
biggest
like-
smile on my face.
You look like Ricky Lake, or like, you know those not the Ricky Lake
Audience?
no. You know, like the talk show.
Yeah, I know. But
them.
I look like Ricky Lake, you mean? Like
yeah,
when-
you know when you have a guest on the show,
Oh, and you're like,
and they're telling
you know who does a lot on their show, which I think she needs to relax a little bit? Drew Barrymore. You ever seen the clips of her on her show when she be getting on her knees in front of the guests to hug them? And I'm like, Drew,
she
just sit down.
she's very lovable. You know what it is? She's just happy to be where she's at because shout, Drew Barrymore went through it when she was little.
It's Drew. Yeah, it's a Drew Barrymore show. Yeah,
Because her
yeah,
parents were not the best.
Yeah, you told me
And
like at
she-
Studio 69 at like 6, 7.
Studio
9?
54.
I said 69.
I was like, what is Studio 16? I mean, they were doing a lot of 69s. And
Baby, Studio 69
they
gotta
weren't-
exist somewhere.
Studio 54. She was there, like she was like 9 years old, hanging out with
Yeah.
adults and stuff. So I just feel like she's just really happy for where she's at in her life
Yeah.
right now. So that's
She
why
should
every
be.
time I see her, I'm like, it's okay, Drew. You're just happy.
I know, but it was a
To-
little like I saw a clip where Vanessa Hudgens was on her show. I don't know
Mhm.
how new or not the clip is. And she was telling her that she got engaged,
Mhm.
and Drew got on her knees in front of her to give her a hug. I'm like,
Wait, was
Vanessa was sitting? Yes,
Mhm.
like how I am. And Drew, imagine you're Drew. She got off her seat on her knees in front of Vanessa.
Drew,
in
okay,
front of
girl.
Vanessa to give her a huge hug.
Yo.
I'm like, okay. Okay. But anyway, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, life is good. The new ventures that I started, which you know about.
Yes,
I'll
I
share with
do.
you guys eventually, but it's going well. I got 2 new inquiries this weekend. And it's
Mhm.
funny, anytime I'm with my man, I get new inquiries. It's interesting. But anyway, but that's good. That's good.
He's like,
Okay. Anyway, we have special guests in the studio, but neither here nor there. All right, Tasha, you ready?
Yes. So
All right.
our topic for today, well, we have many topics, but one of our first topics is we're going to talk about toxic traits. And we all know that many of us are great people, but we all have flaws and we all have toxic traits. It's something that we all have. And we're going to talk about ours and like our toxic traits and I guess what we can do to change them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think your toxic traits are?
Oh, you want me to start? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I made a list. So I think my first toxic trait, if I'm gonna be honest, is I'm not the best at compromising. I am. Some would say that it's a Capricorn thing, that we're very much, our way or the highway. So for me, I think it's a combination of me being a Capricorn and on top of that, me being an only child. So in no way, shape, or form am I calling myself spoiled or entitled. But what happens is that, for fellow only children that can agree with me, when you grow up and it's only you don't have to really compromise for anybody else, right? It's not like you say you want, let's say I want a pair of shoes. My mother's not going to tell me, no, you can't because your brother has to get it first. No, like, I'll get the shoes. When I get them, but I ultimately get the shoes. When I want something, okay, you get it. I don't see why. There's no one else there to, who am I going to fight with? Like Casper the Ghost? It's only me. So that's part of it. I didn't realize it was such a big deal until I got into a relationship. I'm lying. I realized that it was a problem the more you interact with people, because it also became an issue in friendships as well, right? Because let's say, like us, for example, there's 4 of us. It can't be what I want every single time. That's not fair, and it's also not fun. And the way that I learned to deal with it is majority rules. You give out a suggestion, and the 3 that agree, that's where we're gonna go. And if we're split down the middle, then we're gonna have to flip a coin or something. Yeah. So that's how I've learned to deal with it in my platonic friendships. And then in my relationship, I personally think it's still a work in progress, because I be thinking I'm right. And that's like I be thinking I be making sense. But I also realize that I'm not the only person in my relationship. And
what's your rising?
Oh, it's in my phone. I don't know. It's in my phone. I know it, but I don't know it.
Oh.
I think Scorpio. I don't know. Don't ask me, because I don't know. I don't know.
If it's Scorpio, it's unfortunate.
Oh my God, now I'm scared of Scorpio.
No, I just can't stand Scorpio.
Well. Well, so that's that one though. And the way that I'm working on it, no offense to the Scorpios,
child, we don't care about how they feel. Sorry,
Tasha don't care. I absolutely have no problem, because I don't even know that much about the whole horoscope, stars, and all that type of stuff. Anyway, okay, whatever hate y'all got, send it over there. Anyway,
they don't want it though.
Like I said, I don't know if they want it or not, but send it over
there. They don't.
So. And the way I'm working on it is literally just learning to sit, listen, and shut up.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, yeah, I'm learning to choose peace. I can't, And with my partner, the way that I deal with him is just, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? You sure it's okay? Like I like hammer it, because I'm like, tell me if you don't want to. It's okay. But then I'm not gonna lie. I think sometimes he'll tell me no, and I'm like, okay, and then he'll be like, all right, fine. So anyway, that's one. I'll go just through mine, and then you could go through yours. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So my second one is, when I get mad, I could get vicious, which is not good. So I don't know if this has to do with me being a Capricorn or just being my mom's daughter. When I get angry, when I am triggered, like when I am out of baseline and I'm in that point of being irrational, I don't give a fuck what I'm going to say to you, but I'm going to say something to you that's going to hurt you, and it is what it is. And I don't like that, because a person who has emotional control and is emotionally mature doesn't allow themselves to get to that point of being triggered, and then they can't come back down.
Okay.
So the way that I'm working on it is that I'm starting to become very aware of my physical signs. So for example, I know that when my foot starts shaking, something in me is happening. Or whenever I get super, super quiet, when normally I can go back and forth, I know that something's happening, and I need to either leave the situation or take inventory of what's happening and calm myself down. Because I don't think it's a good trait to have. And I know I get it from my mother to a certain extent, because she's like that too. I know, because she's done it to me. And I don't like that. My next one is, and Tasha, I know you can vouch for this one, is when I'm also upset, it's very visible. I can't play it off. I don't have a poker face when I'm upset. And the reason that's a bad thing is because it brings down the whole mood of whoever it is I'm around. right? So if we're all hanging out as friends and then something happens and I get angry, now I'm in a bad mood, and then it might throw off the whole dynamic. So the way that I'm learning to deal with that is that I want to take a beat, get myself together, and then kind of reemerge in the circle. So I remember when we had went to Cuba the second time, something had happened and I was really upset. And then our other two friends were in the front and I was in the back, or I was in the front and they were in the back, but we were separated because I just had to kind of get it out of my system. And once it's out of my system, I'm good. So I'm learning to just deal with my shit on my own and not let other people have to suffer through it. Does that make sense? And I don't think that's a good trait either. My last trait, because actually I don't remember what I wrote, and now I can't unlock this shit.
I'm dead.
Jesus. And my last one, which I'm feeling now more because of my career, is that sometimes I don't give myself enough credit.
Oh, yeah.
I think sometimes I could be super, super hard on myself and the things that I've accomplished. And I don't want to say I downplay it, but I don't tell myself enough how much of that girl I am and how much of the things that I've done that are like really big accomplishments. Like I just took a huge step. Yeah. And I haven't been able to sit down and be like, wow, I'm really proud of you for that. It's
I feel like that's your biggest toxic trait.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
I don't.
Me looking in.
From the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I have a big issue with that. And I know exactly why. And it has to do with the friends I had in middle school and growing up. When people tend to minimize you a lot for whatever reason it may be. And we could have this conversation later on another topic about like the benefits of having good friends and the consequences of having bad friends. Yeah. You start to believe it, right? You start to believe that the words that they're saying is true, even if you know they're not. And on the other hand, I have my mother always telling me the opposite. So it's not like I was only hearing these negative things. But you start to believe it a little bit. And I didn't think it had much of an effect. But as I got older, I realized that they got to me and they caused me to not be able to, as much as I would like, be able to say, you know what, Brittany, like you're doing an excellent job and you're accomplished and you've done this. And it's okay to be present and mindful in the space that you're in and then worry about, okay, what's our next step? And the way that I'm working on this is by going to therapy, by being honest, by realizing that these things are happening. And a lot of mental gymnastics in the sense of when I feel something, question it, challenge it. Just don't allow these negative automatic thoughts to kind of run wild. So let's say I'm doing something or someone's doing some, like for example, I have a friend who we graduated with the same degree, same psychology degree, and then we both have our master's, but then she went on to do her doctorate. And I remember I called my boyfriend and I was just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm not doing shit. Like maybe I should have went for my doctorate. Like what am I doing? And then I had to realize, why am I somehow making myself less than that I didn't go for my doctorate when I've never said I wanted it? When have you ever heard me said that I want a PhD? I don't want a PhD.
No, you never.
And I said, if I go back for a doctorate, it'll be my side D. Yeah. But it was never that. So why am I minimizing what I've accomplished? Yeah, she's in doctorate school, but I have years of experience that she does not have.
I guess what ties into that toxic trait is also like sometimes you compare and contrast others to yourself.
It doesn't happen as much. It's only for very specific things. Okay. So when it comes to like my career, sometimes I have the tendency to do that. Okay. Because what happened in that friendship when I was younger is that they always made themselves more important than me. Like whatever they had going on was more important than me. Okay. So what happens when I got older and how that transitioned was that if I feel that anyone is doing better than me, I feel like I'm failing. Okay. And that's not true because everyone's definition of success is so much different.
Yeah, it's very true.
But for me, it's like, let's say, for example, you got this new job, right? Me and you are in completely two different fields. Right? It's comparing flowers to water, like completely different. You get a promotion, I'll automatically say, I'm not doing good enough.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the moment that someone makes a step in the direction, and I'm happy for you, I'm proud of you, but automatically I'm like, what do you have to do? Because now you're behind. And that's what happened from having friends that constantly were like, you're not smart enough or you're not good enough. And you don't think it has an effect. But when you're in your early teens or younger, it plants a seed that now as an adult, I have to do a lot of work to unplant. And like I said, I just do a lot of mental gymnastics and I am getting better at it. And I'm starting to realize that everyone's path is different and I can't compare myself to other people because other people don't do what I do.
Exactly. That's very true.
But
and
yeah.
And I feel like your time will come. I feel, well, I don't want to say it like as if
it hasn't come.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that like everybody's time is different and how they're successful, whatever. Think of my I was asking my sister, like, what are my toxic traits? She was like, probably your number one toxic trait is you thinking that you have a toxic trait. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty hard to figure out what my toxic trait is. You can relax. Thank you very much. I feel like one of my toxic trait is that I just feel like I can be very unfair in terms of like I just think I could be unfair with people. Like if you show me that if you just give me one reason for me not to either trust you or like you do something that I will forever see what you did that was wrong. It's very hard for me to forgive people. And I take because people are complex. Like it's very interesting. Like even for me as a kid, like let's say me and someone else, because actually this happened in like middle school. Me and this girl, like we never got along. Absolutely never did. And I think it was 8th grade, and it was like when we were graduating and we were writing. Remember the autograph books?
Yeah.
And she was writing in my autograph book, and then when she handed it back to me, she was like, like we had a lot of ups and downs, but like, I still think you're like a really cool person. And I literally looked at her and I was like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like I was
like,
really
you said
like,
that?
Yeah.
You said, okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I remember looking back and I'm like, she was trying to be the bigger person. And then I was just like, nah. And I think like, I really didn't like her. And I feel like I had my reasons not to like her. But my thing is also like, I could have just been like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, and just left it there.
We could have just left it there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I guess another toxic trait would fall into another toxic trait is that I'm very like, well, if I don't like her, I don't like her. I said what I said, I do what I did. I can't like it's I feel like I need to be able to just be like, no, you were wrong then. You should have been the bigger person, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I always find ways to make myself right. And I feel like those are two things that kind of fall into each other.
The one I have plays into what you're saying.
I always think I'm right.
Yeah. You're very black and white.
I am very black or white.
That's my thing. With you is no in-betweens. It's either yes or no or right or wrong. And I'm like, Tasha, things have very rare in life do you find things that are black and white.
Understandable, but I also feel that like being too gray or living in the gray area is what really is a problem, especially in our kind of generation though, because I feel like people kind of like to live in a gray area so they don't have the responsibility or the accountability to be like, oh, I was wrong or I was right. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean, I feel like when people say like, yeah, but you feel like the but.
Yeah, sometimes it's just no.
I was
or
wrong.
Sometimes yes. Like, it's the answer is 2 + 2 be 4. It's not, it's kind of 4. It's only 4 on Wednesdays. It's like, no, sometimes 2 + 2 is 4.
Right.
And I feel like for me, I think because I do have gray area moments. I do understand the gray areas. I think for me being in a generation that's just too much into the gray area, I kind of force myself to be very black or white.
Okay.
Because I'm just like, at the end of the day, you being in a gray area doesn't answer my question. The questions are still left unanswered. So is that a toxic trait? Yes and no.
It makes you hard though.
Yes, I did grow up very hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well.
Like borderline-ish mean.
Yeah, I be mean. And that's a toxic trait as well. Because another thing is
and
that's
coming from a bitch that can also be very mean.
Yes. I feel like I feel like that's because that's a toxic trait I was gonna say I can relate to you on. When I don't like you, but I feel like my toxic trait with that goes a little bit deeper though.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you can be a family member or a friend, if you do something that I don't like or you get on my nerves, I don't mind saying something to you or doing something to you that can end the entire relationship. You got on my damn nerves.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to turn around and be like, well, and I think that's a toxic trait.
Because
that's not
I will. Forgiveness is a thing, and where does it leave?
Exactly.
Where do you leave a relationship if there's no level
absolutely,
of forgiveness?
Absolutely. And I think that at the same time, I can be very like, just like, like it's just like I think, but it's also I feel like it's something that is something I grew up with. Like me, like in my family, like we can go there. We can go the distance when we don't like when we don't. If we don't like something that somebody said or something that somebody did, we can be very like, we'll end it all. And I was telling my sister, it's like being on the extreme ends. It's like I'm extremely here or extremely there.
Yeah, but that's who you are. You're either extremely nice or you're just extremely not.
Extremely not. It's never in the middle. Well, if I don't know somebody though, if I don't know if you're a stranger, I kind of live in a neutral side. I do. If you're a stranger and I don't know you and I'm just meeting you for the first time. But if it's either I really, really like you or I really, really don't like you. And the really, really don't has to, you could do one thing to me and I didn't like it and you're already on my I really don't like you list.
You're on your shit list.
You're on my shit list. And
forever.
Like the thing
Forever.
Forever. And the thing is that, like, remember, I think I told you, guys, I be even saying things that are just really just bad. Remember that dude, the dude I was talking to? And he wasted my time. I couldn't stand him. You know.
I don't remember who you're talking about.
You remember Houston?
Okay, yes.
Yes. Girl, the things I said.
You texted him a whole bunch of shit?
No, I didn't text him anything.
Oh, you mean like you've said about him?
Yeah, I said.
Ah, okay. Well, he looked like somebody daddy anyway, so it don't matter.
Huh?
So he looked like somebody daddy anyway, so
yeah, that's true.
And not in a good way. Not like, ooh, daddy. It's like, ooh.
It's like, your hairline is receding.
And
you're looking kind of ashy.
Because you're not that cute. And your hair is uneven. You look dusty.
You're not cute. Your hair's uneven. Actually, he fell right into that. He fell right into each and every one of those points.
We will say, decent career, and he had his life put together.
He did. He had a decent career, life put together, and he had we had great conversations.
Yeah.
But the things that I said, because he was in an army, and I dead set. I was like,
oh my God, don't say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it.
Oh my God, Brittany. Well, you were thinking it. Yeah, well, you said it. You know, sometimes you sound just like a man. So I've been told.
But I said,
but she said
I said what y'all think what y'all think I said. I said it.
The worst thing that can happen to someone in the armed forces. That's
what I said. Yes, I did. I said it. That's what I'm telling you. Toxic.
And for anybody out there, don't put your hand in the fire for no nigga you ain't never met, because when the whole thing had happened, I'm like, nah, he would never. I give my right hand for that nigga. I'm like, nah, he would never do that shit.
Yeah,
when it happened the next day, I was like, I ain't got no right arm because I'm out here putting myself on the line for a nigga that I don't know. Don't do that, y'all. Don't vouch for men you don't know.
Yeah. But I am working on my toxic traits with my therapist, my lovely therapist. I am working. Actually, I have to book her for this week. But like
you mean next week?
Yeah, next week. It's just things that I'm just like working on, because I do think I could be very tough and very cold. My mom used to say like I'm exactly like her mother, like, because my sister is more like, she's like more sensitive. Like, I mean, she mean too. Don't get it twisted.
I'm like, who? I'm like, what sister?
No, she.
I'm like, what sister you talking about?
We're both mean because we both grew up with the same type of parents and with the same type of like values. Like we grew up really tough, but I wouldn't grow up any differently, because I feel like I am like the amazing, confident woman that I am because of how I was raised.
Right.
But like, there's also cons to that, because like you don't always have to be so tough. You don't always have to be so hard. You don't always have to be so cold.
And there's beauty in being soft. There's so much beauty in being soft.
I can be soft, but I just don't. It's also because I feel like, yes, that's a me thing, but I also think that I hold accountability to the people around me. Allow me to be soft.
Right.
Because sometimes I have to be tough, or I have to be that person, because people may not trust my boundaries, or people just don't allow me to be soft or delicate or whatever, because they just expect me to always be that hard. So then then that annoys me, and then then that's when you get my mean side.
I see what you mean. And so it's a privilege for it to be able to be soft with someone. Like, it's funny because yesterday, I spent the night at my boyfriend's place yesterday, and we were he was standing up and I was sitting. We weren't doing anything inappropriate, but we were there was a height difference.
You were sitting and he was what?
I was sitting on the toilet and he was in front of the sink.
Oh.
Like, I wasn't using the bathroom. I was just sitting on it. So we were having a conversation. He was brushing his teeth and shit. And I was in the bathroom with him. Anyway, the point I'm saying, the reason I wanted to bring that up is about softness. So as we were talking, I was sitting there and I remember I was just like looking up at him and I was like smirking, and I like had this smirk on my face and I just was looking at him, and then he leaned down and he gave me a kiss, and I was like, do I have a face that I make like when I want to kiss? And he's like, yeah, you do. And I was like, because I was looking at myself in the mirror.
You probably look like Bella.
That's what I said.
When Bella want a treat or Bella want to play, because Bella be looking at me like, I want to play, and I be like, girl, what you want me to?
That's
how you want me to play with you? I don't know how to play with dogs.
Anyway. That's exactly what I said, Tasha. I was like, and he was like, yeah, you do, but it's cute. And I was like, yeah, because I literally felt like a dog that was looking at you like, look at me, notice me, play with me, give me a kiss. But there's something super sweet about being able to be that sweet and vulnerable with your partner.
But my thing is like, that's not my issue with being sweet, because I feel like I have my cute, sweet,
absolutely
delicate moments.
But
I feel like I'm very different, especially at work, because at work, like, people I work with, they consider me like cute, like
and
sweet
bubbly,
and bubbly. But I feel like I don't know, it just comes out when I feel like I'm around people that it just deserve it, or it's like I don't know, it's just easy to be that way with them. I'm also trying to think of another toxic trait that I have. I think as well, I think this is one thing I also realized about me, is that I am so used of being the powerful energy in the room that sometimes when if I'm in a situation where maybe I'm not the powerful energy in the room, it makes me a little uncomfortable, because I'm so used to sitting in that seat all the time. So when I'm not, I'm like, so I'm really learning how to be like, nah, just share the energy, because like who wants to always have this seat? Because I think I think that's one toxic trait that I've learned to become really comfortable with now, because I'm just like, man, I don't want to be the one I don't want to, like, I just be like, oh, I'm tired, like, it'd be exhausting. It'd be exhausting being the powerful one in the room with the powerful energy. Sometimes I'd be like, girl, it's your show. I'm gonna sit here and be pretty, thank you. And I enjoy it, because I just be like, I'm tired, it's a lot. It's a lot to be like. I used to always think that, oh gosh, I have to be the funny friend. I have to be the friend that always got to have a word. Sometimes I should be shutting up. I'd be like, no, I'm gonna be quiet today. So I feel like that's a toxic trait that I feel like I've succeeded in. Now it's not a toxic trait anymore.
In other words, we imperfect, we got issues, but we working on them. Let us know what are some of your toxic traits and how you're working on them. And if you can relate to, the ones that we've shared. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. Okay. Yeah.
But that's an interesting one, your last one. Because like you, I don't want it, but I tend to be the loud energy in the room as well.
It's just like.
And you're right. It can be exhausting at times.
Yeah. I'll be
especially when people just make you it.
Yes.
Especially like when there's like group projects or whatever. Like, why am I the fucking talking voice?
Exactly.
Here,
they
like,
always,
what the fuck? Y'all bitches
oh my God.
too.
In group projects, they always want you to be the one to present. I'm like, dude, like, I'm tired. I'm really exhausted. Or when you have to be the friend that, like, not only the funny friend, but like the strong friend. Oh my, that right there, I'm like, let me take out the plug, wrap everything up, and go home. I do not. Don't lean on me. I think that's the thing for me, that I'm just like, people try to be like physically close to me, and I'd be like, get away from me, get away from me, get away from me. Because I feel like in groups of friends, if you're the tallest one in the group, if you're the plus size girl in the group, I feel like everybody want to hug up on you, touch up on you, act like you the strong friend, want to hug. I'd be like, get the fuck off of me. I really don't like to.
Well, but I touch all of you guys. There's only one out of the Three
There's
of y'all,
only one
there's
that
only
you-
one that I don't touch.
That you I was
That
about
I
to say
don't
there's only
touch.
one that you was sexually objectified.
No, I've objectified. Yeah, I objectified Cam a lot. You remember the time we went to Lancaster? She was standing next to me, and then we were eating Oreos, and I just grabbed her boob, and I'm like, "You have very nice breasts."
And she was just like, "Yo, like, are you serious?" Like, she was upset about it. Like, why would you?
Cam goes, "Did you even ask me?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." While my hand is on her boob, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Can
Hannah's
I?"
still on the boob.
Can I?
Hannah's
She
still on the boob.
goes, I mean, it's already there. And mind you, I don't mean it in no creepy way. She just has amazing boobs. But anyway, all right. So you ready for a palate cleanse?
Yes.
All right. So like always, a palate cleanse is a topic that has nothing to do with anything, that kind of just, cleanses our palate for the next topic. This one was funny because we were talking about it. So our palate cleanse, and we definitely want to hear from you guys about what it is for you guys, is a movie or a TV show that left you traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a movie that had a long-lasting effect on you.
Positive or negative?
Mine's is all negative.
Mine is. You know what?
Let's say negative.
I have like 2 negative, but I will throw in 1 positive.
Oh Lord, while you talk, I'll think of my positive because I didn't think positive at all.
Okay, my number one that traumatized me to this day. To this day is Lovecraft Country. Oh my God, that TV show. Like, I will never go back and watch that TV show. There's a lot of TV shows I'll go back and watch. Yeah. Lovecraft, I'm done. I watched it. I experienced it. I'm done.
I've heard so much about it from you guys that I'm scared to watch it. I haven't even watched it.
You should be. I mean,
I'm not gonna watch it.
I feel like you should watch it because it's great writing. It's a great cast. It's great special. It's a all around, like it. I think it was nominated 12 times at the Emmys. Deserved every single nomination. Couldn't believe. That's another thing. I don't know how you nominate 12 times, don't at least go home with 1 award. That's kind of
award. That's crazy.
That's a little weird. I think anybody who's nominated more than like, I feel like if it's like 9, 10, 11, 12 nominations, just give them at least 1. It's kind of ridiculous. But let me tell you, there's just so many moments. That episode when it was about the riot that was in Oklahoma, the Tulsa massacre. Mm-hmm. Ha! That episode had me like, whoa. And then
it had you breakdancing.
It just had me like in a frenzy. I was just like, oh my God. But or that moment, I know if you guys watched it, there was an episode that was about D. And let me tell you something. Any movie where a child is involved and they're in any harm's way traumatizes me. There's something about children getting harmed that I'm just like, I can't take it. That's why I never saw When They See Us. I still have not seen it. I cannot take it.
What movie is that?
That's the movie about the Central Park 5.
Park 5, yeah.
Well, it's not a movie. It's like a TV series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I can't watch it because I can't deal with children being harmed. But this episode's about Dee, who's a child in Lovecraft, and she was being harmed. And immediately in my mind, I was like, I know this is going to traumatize me. But what scared me was those things. I don't remember they were called on the TV show, but it was those things. And the 2 actresses that played those things were they were dancers, and they had like these weird, like,
their body movements.
Yes, weird body movements, and their hair was and it just scared the shit out of me to the point, y'all, I was scared to use the bathroom at night because I always have to pee in the middle of the night. And I was so scared to go out. Like, I called my sister and I was like, yo, can you come to the bathroom? She goes, what? I was like, can you just come to the bathroom? No, she was like, girl, I'm not getting up to go to no bathroom with you. I'm like, but I'm scared. Like, I was really scared of the dark. Like, I was just scared I just thought they was going to come at me. I don't know why. It's just like, and mind you, I'm not a type of person that gets scared like that. But that scared the living daylights out of me. And that moment in Lovecraft Country when you found out that the kid that everybody was going to the funeral spoiler alert, was Emmett Till. When I tell you, to this day, every time I think about it, goosebumps. Because there's an episode, I think it's like episode 2, where the kids are downstairs playing with the Ouija board. A Ouija board. I don't know why. When I saw black kids playing with that, I was like, your mama didn't
do that.
Your mama didn't tell you that you're not
Let us know if you black and you play with the Ouija board.
Yeah, because
we don't do that.
That's not something we do. But
I'm like deadly scared of that shit. Like, don't bring it near
me too.
me.
I'm not playing with that. But yeah, they were playing with it, and it was this boy, and he was like, "Oh, should I go down to the South to visit my cousin?" Because remember, that's what Emmett Till was down there for. And then when the thing moved, it spelled like no, like don't go. And then it didn't hit me. I remember I was watching it with one of my friends. It didn't hit us. We were just like, okay.
I mean, but
that's
those
what
are
the Ouija boy
the
said.
subtle things in shows that
So
make it
subtle.
so good.
And then when we got to the episode, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot what the boy name was on the show. Let's say his name was Pete. It was like, okay, Pete was killed. Like and the black community is all coming together. I'm like, this sounds like Emmett Till. but maybe it's not. I don't know. And then my friend who was watching it with me, one of her friends was like, yo, that's Emmett Till. And I was like, I said, what you mean? Goosebumps. And then I thought about the Ouija board. I was like, oh my God. Yo, I was like, oh my God. It was crazy. But yeah, so Lovecraft Country, definitely. And my second one is, I told you about that movie that I watched. Well,
the
No
foreign
Beast.
film? The foreign film?
The foreign film, and also
Beast of a Nation?
Beast of No Nations. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Beast of No Nations. Idris
With
played
Idris.
in it. It's about child soldiers in Africa. Don't watch that show.
No, I don't
watch that
like
movie.
that either.
Yeah. Traumatized me. Never again. And Mr. Pip. Mr. Pip is a foreign movie. It's about the civil war that happened in New Guinea. And just the beginning, you would have never thought it was going to be traumatizing. You're watching it. It's this man, this white English. He's a white man. He's English. No, he's from Australia, and he's teaching English to the children in New Guinea, and he's teaching them because they're going through a civil war. So he's teaching them Charles Dickinson's Great Expectations. So these kids are learning, about their lives. They're trying to find similarities between what's going on, the topics or important things that happen in the book with them growing up in New Guinea during this time. And one of the girls, I think her name was Matilda. I think that was her name in the movie.
That name. No offense to anybody named Matilda.
I'm
That's an old woman name, like naming your child Gladys.
I just feel like Matilda sounds like a witch who lives in Salem.
Like, hey, little Matilda.
Like she does spells.
It sounds like she girl, I need to go to a grocery store and get me some Matilda. It feels like a goods.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it sounds like an old.
Girl, I need to bring you some of
Tabitha
that Matilda
and
chocolate, because that Matilda chocolate, that shit is
it's good.
It's
I
not
feel like
a real chocolate.
Oh, it's not? What is it?
No, I'm trying to give you an example of the fact that the name Matilda sounds like a
Matilda chocolate. I feel like Matilda and Tabitha sounds like witchy names.
I like the name Tabitha though. But anyway, continue.
Okay. Yeah, but in the movie, her name was Matilda, and she grows very fond with the English teacher, which her mom didn't really like. I think she felt like the teacher was teaching her things that was making her grow up too fast. And she's a young girl. It's a coming of age story type of thing. And she just wanted her little girl to stay a little girl. And but yeah, so that happened, and also I guess the adults on the island were a little uneasy because here's this white Australian man. But the kids at first were a little like, but they kind of gravitated towards him because of whatever. But anyway, long story short, towards the ending, everybody on the in New Guinea, like on that island, was like very fond of him and everything like that. But then remember, they're in the Civil War. So the people came. And when the people found him, they didn't like the fact that the Australian man was there. So they executed him in front of everybody. But first they gathered everybody. This is when it gets traumatizing. I didn't think it was going to get like that. They gathered everybody up, right? And they asked people, right? Oh, who here has a problem with us, killing this man in front of y'all? Nobody's going to say nothing because they're like, child, they got guns and they got machetes and we're going to shut up. There was this little boy that was in Matilda's class. I think he was supposed to be a child that had like mental issue, like mentally challenged a little bit. But he was like the funny kid in class. He was such a sweetheart, right? He raised his hand, but I don't think he didn't realize, he didn't know. They killed the boy. And the mother is like begging, like, oh my gosh, like please, like don't. He told the woman, he was like, we're going to kill your son. You want to join him? Come, you can join him. And she's just like, yeah.
I might as well.
I might as well. And I was just like, where is this movie going? I was like, wait. And you thought I would stop it? No, because once I'm there, I'm like, I'm out of finish
and you know what it is too? When you get a good movie that's good, even if it's killing you, you're like, fuck, I gotta finish this shit. You might be dead by the end, but you're like, I gotta get through it.
Do it. Ciao. And then the Matilda's mom, who, remember, didn't like the Australian man, she stood up for him. She goes, y'all sitting there out here talking about, oh yeah, like y'all trying to create this new New Guinea, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it, I guess also keeping it like strictly black as well too. And it's like you going around killing your own people. Like, what was the point of that? Like,
they killed her too?
Yeah, they did. But before, oh my God, guys, before they even killed her, they took the girl to Matilda. Because I'm like, why y'all always gotta throw in? Why? Like, you could have just killed her. No. They they do
it on purpose.
Yeah, and mind you, the guy who's like the leader, he takes Matilda aside. He's just smoking his cigarette as they're the mom in the back, and then kill her. And her back is turned, and she just hears it all going on in the background. It's just like, I just paused.
Trigger warning, by the way. Very like trigger warning, you guys, because we should have said that before you even.
Yeah. Trigger warning. I'm so
trigger
sorry.
Warning.
I'm so sorry. Trigger warning.
We'll make sure we put it in the beginning in text.
Yes. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So that was traumatizing. I still think of that movie today. To this day. And I'm not ever watching that movie again. So if you watch it, don't watch Mr. Pip, honey. Don't watch
with
it.
a name like Mr. Pip, who would know?
I'm
saying, see a fucking clown at a party or some shit. The fuck,
Mr. Pip, I thought, oh, this is gonna be a coming of age. It's gonna be nice. He's gonna be a teacher who's gonna help the kids, and the kids gonna like him. The end. No.
They got you into a false sense of security.
Yes. And I hate when that happens in films.
That's how they got you.
Yeah.
Mine's is good to kind of play off of yours because it has to do with race as well. So mine's is Mississippi Burning. I don't know if y'all ever seen Mississippi Burning, but don't y'all see that shit? It's with William Dafoe and a whole bunch of other people. Let me tell you. A quick synopsis of the movie. It's based on a true story. It's about three gentlemen, I don't remember their ages, but it was 2 white men and 1 black man. They were in Mississippi. They were driving. They get pulled over by the police. And then when the police see that in the 2 fronts in the backseat there's a black man, they kill everybody. They kill, if I'm not mistaken, child, I think that's how the movie goes. They kill the 2 white boys for being with the black man and the black man. So then they sent in 2, I believe, FBI agents to the town in Mississippi where it happens, and the movie goes from there. We got fire, cross burning on people's lawns, explosions and stuff, people getting hanged, people in cages, dead bodies. It was so intense. I remember I was in bed with my mother. She was dead asleep. And I'm like,
how old were you?
I was young.
Oh, that's why you was watching
young.
that movie at young. But then I watched it when I was that young too.
I was young, and I remember because we were in our first apartment ever when we came to the United States. So I was young. I must have been in like elementary school when I saw this movie. If not elementary school, it had to be before I graduated 8th grade.
Okay.
So it was either middle school or elementary school. Let's say middle school to be safe.
I think I saw it when I was 7.
And my mother was leaning on her, like laying on her side, and I was like behind my mother's shoulder looking at the TV like this. Yeah. Because I was so scared. And I remember I was like, Brittany, just turn it off. But I'm like, but I want to see how it ends. Yeah. Like how it ends. To this day, I have not been able to watch Mississippi Burning again. I don't know if maybe as an adult it won't be that bad. I don't want to risk it. So I'm just not watching it. Mississippi Burning, that.
Wasn't Eddie Winslow was in it?
I don't remember who the hell is in it except William Dafoe. That's the only man I remember being in that movie.
And you know what? They always
put William Dafoe and shit
in the movies about race or
maybe playing racist. But it's an excellent movie though. Like if you can deal with that type of stress to your heart, I say go for it. But if you can't, don't do it. My second one, well, I have a few of them. What else? One that fucked me up, and simply because I can't swim, is The Impossible. So The Impossible is about that tsunami that hit, I don't remember if it was Thailand, but I remember it was in Asia. It was a tsunami that hit years ago. About a family, it's a real life story again, about a family that was on vacation at a seafront resort when the tsunami hit
Yeah.
and everybody gets washed away and the whole family survived, but
When
the
did that
mother
movie come out? Do you know?
shit, no.
Because you said the
remember.
boy from
Tom
Spider-Man.
Tom Holland
Okay.
is in it. This is when he was young.
Oh, he was
young.
little.
Not little, because he played the eldest son.
Okay.
So there were 2 little boys, and then he played the eldest son, and it was a
He
mom and a
died.
dad. No, everybody survived.
Oh.
Everybody survived, but the mother was like really, really fucked up. They had to fly her from where they were at to the to where they were. I think they were English. But that movie really girl, because Sasha, I can't swim, so that was it for me.
Yeah.
I want to go to Bali, have me a good time, and then a tsunami come. That's it.
Ooh, child, please don't put that.
That's it. That's it.
Ha la la la. Don't put that. Don't put that in universe.
The other one we discussed this one for colored girls.
Oh,
Colored
yeah.
Girls fucked me up so many different times throughout the movie. Again, one movie that is like, just shut it off, but you want to see how it ends.
Didn't you and your friend watch it? Y'all were both crying. You're like,
We were in my house. The scene, spoiler alert, there's the scene where, what's his name? Michael Ealy.
He wasn't finding that movie.
He wasn't. He had
Scary.
the kid. He was dangling the kids out of the
window.
The window. I don't know how high, but it was high. And we thinking he like playing and he gonna pull them back. Long story short, he let them kids drop in front of the mama.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was watching it with our friend. And when I tell you, we both yelled. And then she was like, pause it. And she was like, I have to go for a walk. She went for a walk around the apartment. And then came and sat back down. And I was there like I couldn't breathe. It was so intense. And in that same movie, the scene where Anika in her own house on her floor, and then after he finishes, he just gets up and leave. I was like, ugh.
You know, that scene is always the reason why I would never invite a date to my house. Like, you know, some people they have dates.
Like a nightcap.
Yeah, they'll not even a nightcap. Some people, they're like, oh, let's do dinner. Come over and I'll cook you dinner and we can have a date.
For her, it was almost like a nightcap. I think they had went out. The date went great. And then they went to her house, and then while he was in there, it happened.
A nightcap?
I think it was more of a nightcap. I don't think she just invited him to dinner, but he pretended to be like the greatest.
Yeah, he
gentleman.
was awesome. And the thing is that reason why for Color Girls didn't traumatize me was because I read the book.
The book, yeah.
And when I read the book and I saw a play of it, so I was prepared.
But that movie did.
I'm sorry, girl.
And then
sorry you went through that.
My 2 last, I'll do a TV show because you did a TV show.
Yeah, do a TV show.
So Outlander is an amazing show. I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful show. There's some scenes that are beautiful. Outlander could be my positive show as well as a traumatized show because
it's traumatizing.
Their love story is very beautiful.
Yeah,
and it leaves an impression on you. But trigger warning: there is so much sexual assault in this movie, in this series, and there is one in particular because there's another one, but I haven't been able to see it yet.
I haven't seen that one. That's why I stopped. I stopped because I'm not watching that one.
But there was one, and I've never seen. Again, trigger warning: sexual assault towards a man depicted so in your face.
Yeah,
because they have no issue showing women getting, the R word whenever. But with men, you don't really see it. And they showed it. And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? But then again, did I turn it off? No, because it was so well made. It was an excellent scene. It was filmed beautifully. Excellent, but it was super tough. It was super tough to watch.
Yeah, it was very tough.
But it was a good scene, though.
It was very long. That's what I remember.
It was throughout the whole episode.
It was the whole episode. I was like,
and
I think that's what traumatized me because I was just like, you try to fast forward it, and I'm like, stop it, and then it ended. It was like, oh, next episode. That's what Hulu. I think I watched it on Netflix.
Oh, I saw it.
And it said Netflix. I was like, this was the whole episode.
Yeah.
No.
Because it will go in and out. So from his experience to what's happening outside, from his experience to what's happening outside. And I remember the episode after when his wife went to get him. So what the guy did was that he used lavender to calm him so it would happen, and then he would say his wife's name. So he tried to associate this bad experience with his wife.
Yeah.
So then his wife, who's a doctor, tried to help him. He wouldn't want her to touch him. It was just
he was ooh, and that actor who played the one that I just want to I don't know. I want to interview. I want to find an interview where he's just explaining to him as an actor to have to do that.
How do you get yourself to that space?
How you get to yourself? Yeah, because I would have said no. I would have said no. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't.
But that is
That's
the tales
tough.
of an amazing
That's
actor.
the tales of an amazing
and not
actor.
only him, but also the person who had to endure it. Like, how do you?
I don't know. I feel like it may be harder to be Frank. Well, nice. What was his name?
His name was Frank.
No, that was
that was the one in the future.
Yeah, that was the one in the future. What the one in the past? What's David?
Was it David?
Richard William.
No,
I don't remember his name.
He was English.
Charles. We're gonna give him Charles. Okay. Ciao. Charles.
Jamie was the one that it unfortunately happened. It happened
Jamie. It was just
that
like,
family
oh my
is
God.
cursed with sexual
because
assault.
I feel like
it's insane.
Well, I think they're trying to depict that. I do feel like back in those days,
It happens a lot.
people were just getting sexually
Yeah, because
assaulted.
we're really way in the back. We in the past.
Yes, we're like in the
in
1700s.
Scotland.
I will
Yeah.
tell you that show definitely made me want to go to Scotland though.
I know.
I think Scotland, Ireland, I just feel like they're probably
I know.
gorgeous.
But
I
it was
have
an excellent show though. But
yeah.
that's mine. All right, Tasha, you ready for topic number 2?
Yeah, topic
Go
number
ahead.
2. So topic number 2 today
Is interesting.
is very interesting. So today we're gonna talk about dating men with children.
Can you do it or can you not?
Can you do it and can
Or
you
can
not?
you not?
Can you not do it?
Do you want me to start?
You?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. So usually on topics like this, Tasha and I have to flip a coin because we're very like-minded. In this one, we're completely on opposite ends of the spectrum, which I think is great for conversation purposes. So I am of the belief that personally, I wouldn't mind dating a man that has a child or children, and I mean plural, just 2. Like I have very strict boundaries, but in essence, I wouldn't mind dating a man that has a child. One, because we're nearing 30. We are nearing 30. The men that we date would be either 30 or above. And I do believe that in this day and age, it's very difficult to find a single man in their 30s that has no children.
Really?
So yes, I do think that it makes the pool a little bit smaller if you don't want a man that has a child. I'm not saying it's like a significant change, but there's many men that are our age or a little bit older that have children by now. And honestly, I feel like for the generation behind us, Generation Z, is going to be even harder because they're having kids earlier.
That's their
right?
business.
So that's part of the reason why I'm not necessarily against it. And also because I feel like things happen. I'm not going to crucify you because you had a kid. Like, if you know how to be an adult and you don't have any issues with the mother of your child, I have no problem with it. I have absolutely no problem with it. At the end of the day, that's not my kid. We spend time together when we're together. Everything's is amazing, but they go home with their mom or, half time over here, half time over there. As long as there are very clear boundaries, as long as everyone can be an adult, as long as everybody knows their place, and the most important thing is the child, I have absolutely no issue with it. And good communication. I have absolutely no issue with it.
Yeah.
You can't have more than 2 kids, though. I'm sorry. I'm not finna be no stepmama to 15 kids.
Or 5.
Or 5. I'm not doing all of that. That's too much shit on your plate. And then if we together, you gonna put that shit on my plate, and I don't want extra shit on my plate.
You are not Maria von Trapp, okay? This is
whatever
not
the
Sound
hell
of
it
Music.
is. Whatever the hell it is, I don't want all them damn kids in my backyard. 1 or 2 I can handle. And I want to say from the same mother, because I don't think I can handle 2 different baby mamas.
Okay, but what if, in Maria von Trapp's defense, the mother passed on?
Okay, well, if she passed,
there were 7 children.
From the same mama?
Yeah, they're all from the same mama.
I'm not doing that. That's too many kids. Because then what about my 3 kids that I want? Then we gonna have what? 7,
10.
8, 9, 10 kids? That's too many kids. I don't, no. Now they're all out the house. They grown. I don't give a shit. They grown.
No, some of them were little.
No,
they were
I'm
like teenagers.
right.
I think the oldest was 16 and the youngest was probably 5.
I
16 and 5. Yeah, that's tough.
I think, and maybe I'm using the wrong word, I don't think I'm mature enough right now at the age that I am. At how old am I? 28? At 28, I'm not At 28, I'm not mature enough to deal with a man that has that many kids. And first of all, why do you have like 7 kids at 30?
Yeah.
That's a little weird. Now, if you're a millionaire and you're like 50, and I don't see what's a problem.
Nah, he could still be toxic even though he's a millionaire.
Why are we talking about toxicity? Who said anything about being toxic?
We
talking about kids.
I'm sorry, but I feel like if you in your 30s, or you like, let's say you're 28.
I put it up to 70. I put up 70. Whoa. I pushed it up to 50.
Oh, 50. Oh,
I said, if he's 50 with 7 kids and he's a millionaire, I don't see what the problem is.
I didn't listen to that part. If he's 50, then I
pushed it up to 50.
Okay.
If you're 30 with 7 kids, that's a problem.
That's what I'm saying. That sounds like even if he's rich, problem.
You need Jesus, Yanla, a therapist, a shaman, Dr. Phil, Medea, whoever's willing to help. Whoever's willing to help. I personally don't have an issue with it. But my main thing is boundaries, communication. Everybody has to be an adult. If you come to me and you say, "Hey, yeah, I have a child or whatever, but I don't get along with my baby mama. We got beef."
Yeah.
Because beef with the mother of your children that's a lot. That's a lot. And if that beef between you and her is then gonna spill over to me, now this is a big jambalaya of mess that's not good for this child. So I'm just not even gonna bother.
Yeah.
I love you though, and I wish it could have been different, but I'm gonna just go over here. But is my deal breaker the kid? No. My deal breaker are the circumstances.
The circumstances,
yes.
Not the kid. I am on the opposite end, of course. Like, I don't want to date a guy.
By the way,
kids.
my man don't got no kids that I'm aware of, so this is not my issue.
Girl, your man don't even. You don't got no kids. Like you.
I wouldn't even he's aware of.
You don't.
He doesn't.
I am on the opposite. Like I said, I don't want a man with kids. You don't
want a man?
I don't want a man with kids, like who has kids.
Men is plural, isn't it?
I don't want any of the men. Man, whatever you are, whoever. I don't want you.
If you got a kid, I don't want you.
I don't want you. And I have turned men away because they had a kid. Like I have. I've talked to guys. They're like, yeah, I was like, so what are your things that you love? They're like, oh, like I love playing basketball,
spending time with my kids.
And then he's like, and he said it so sweetly. He's like, and I love spending all the time, I forgot what he said, but he said it so nicely with his 9-year-old daughter. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Ghost. I was like, ghost. And then I remember he would keep texting and he'd be like, oh, I haven't heard from you.
I know.
That is, I haven't.
Damn.
You say you had a 9-year-old child. I said, deuces. As soon as I hear, I have a son or I have a daughter. He was 36, 7.
Okay, with a 9-year-old, that's not bad.
No, it's not. No.
Damn. This was 37? That's a grown-ass man.
Yeah, they tend to come to me. I'm like,
damn.
I don't like the older ones.
I'm sorry.
I love that scene. But anyway.
Because Don Cheadle was hurt.
Yeah, Don Cheadle did the
nigga.
Because he's like, I'm 69. He go, damn. What he say? 59?
Why we keep saying 69? We got something on our minds. He was like in his 50s.
Oh, okay.
Was in his 50s.
He's like, I'm 54. What do you? I don't know.
He said 50 something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm 50 something. He's like, damn. He's like, I'm sorry, but Don Cheadle is,
He looks great though. For his 50s.
Of course, he's a phenomenal actor. But anyway. But even if Don Cheadle came knocking on my door and he had a children, I don't want him. And I do understand that there are amazing men out there who are amazing fathers, right. And they have a great relationship with their the mother of their children, and they co-parent very, very well and everything like that. And it's wonderful, it's beautiful, yum. But I don't want it. And I think for me, it has a lot to do with my personal. I feel like if you've been traumatized in certain circumstances in your life, you don't necessarily want that for yourself. That's just kind of like
human nature.
Exactly. Kind of like if you have daddy issues, sometimes you don't want to date a guy that's like your father because And
that's exactly part what happens. You go to the guy that's like your father.
Yeah, you go to the guy that's like your father, or you go to one that's completely different because that's the part of having daddy issues. But for me, because I personally feel like.
Usually when you have daddy issues,
no. There's two.
More often than yes, I know you could either go to each spectrum, but more often than not, you pull what's similar to your dad.
I don't think so. I think it's both. I think it's been both. I
know
understand.
it can be
I
both.
understand you a therapist and all, but I'm telling you, no.
Mind you, I'm the one with the degree, but okay.
That's lovely. But it's also like, sometimes therapists could be wrong.
Mind you, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know you're not disagreeing. I'm saying, though, it's both. Like, there are women who go out of this way or that way.
I said that.
No, you said.
I said, but a lot, but more often than not, it tends to be the other way. I didn't disagree with what you said.
Oh, well.
She's just always on the defense.
I'm just saying.
That's a toxic trait. God damn.
The toxic trait is also you keep cutting me off. So if you didn't cut me off, maybe I would have understood what you said. Boop.
You're wrong.
But I feel like
she's dead ass wrong.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Anything. And then you trying to make therapists is wrong. Like, bitch, where you coming from?
You be wrong. It's all right. Let me finish.
But I feel like you're coming out of a profession, so now I got a problem.
Girl, you got a problem with the SATs.
Because
you got a problem with your profession.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my bread and butter. Like, what? So,
girl. So what we gonna talk about is back to my point. So I mean,
which I didn't
feel like
with.
I didn't. Okay, you didn't disagree. So then I feel like with the things that in my family that I saw a lot was that I didn't really see my father do a good job with the other side of his kids, like with the other kids. And I feel like I don't want that for myself. I didn't really grow up in that positive. Like you see, like the Will Smiths, like the Smith family, the Smith family with Will and Jada and all those kids, and not all of them kids. They had like 2 kids. And then Trey is, I think her name is Sherry.
Sherry's
son,
we
Trey. What do you mean?
I think that's her name. I think it's Sherry.
I think it's Sherry. Oh, Sherry. Whatever. His ex-wife. They had a child and they divorced, and then he married Jada and they had those 2 kids. And I think they did talk about on the Red Table Talk that they did. No, it didn't start easy. It didn't, but they progressed and they learned, and now they have a beautiful blended family.
You know who else has a beautiful blended family that Ludacris and
oh yeah, you always talk about them.
I love her. I love you and the way that you have integrated those kids. I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful relationship. Kudos to you. Beautiful.
I don't know much about them, but I do see them on social media. They look very nice. But again, another example of like blended families that do very well. I didn't experience blended families that did very, very well. I didn't. And I was in a family where that's how the best way to describe it. Bleh. And for me, I just don't want to go through that because I don't necessarily know if I have the tools or the resources to make something that I was always in turmoil in like that to make it better. Granted, I'm sure I probably can, but I don't really want to. I just feel like it made me exhausted. It traumatized me. I don't have anything positive for it. And it's not like I don't think men who have kids are not awesome. I think they're awesome. I just don't want the stress, especially like that video that she showed us. Brittany sent us a video on Instagram that we also gonna put it up. And it's about a couple who are having a situation because the guy, let's label him Craig. So Craig has a girlfriend named Tracy. And so Craig wanted to send, or he sent flowers to his ex-wife on Mother's Day.
Michelle.
So Craig sent flowers to Michelle, his ex-wife, for Mother's Day,
the mother of his child.
The mother of his child.
Tony.
Yeah.
We gonna forget all these damn names.
Yes, we are. That's not like she throwing names. I'm like, and Tracy had an issue with it because he didn't communicate to her that he was going to do so.
And also that it was specifically flowers.
It was specifically flower. Wait, did she care about the flowers so much?
Remember, she was like, why flowers? It could have been a card.
Oh, yes. Why flowers? It could have been like a card that he could have signed or whatever. And it was, and the thing is that they're having the conversation, and even the people, I think it was like a podcast or maybe a radio show. They called in. And then you could see people in the radio show, like some of the people, they were just kind of like they were listening to him. I feel like they were kind of like, okay. And, they kind of didn't understand what the big deal was about the flowers because it is Mother's Day and like whatever. But I think they also could understand like, yeah, we should have probably communicated that, right? They were both a hot mess. But the point of that entire story, that whether who's right or wrong, even though I don't feel like there was a right or
we
wrong.
should note, though, we should point out, though, that in this scenario, he said she wanted to know why he didn't tell her.
Yeah.
And he told her because I don't really see why. I didn't see the point of you having to know that
That's what he
that I
said.
sent the mother of my child flowers on Mother's Day.
Right. And I think that's when some of them were just like,
Yeah.
Maybe you should have communicated
And
that a
then
little
Tracy
bit.
also made it a thing that why was it flowers? Because flowers are a romantic gesture. And he was like, not necessarily. It's Mother's Day, and what do you do on Mother's Day? You give mothers flowers.
You give mothers flowers.
Right.
But also, I think it could also be, I don't know what their background story is.
Right.
To me, it kind of came off like, do y'all communicate with each other? Do y'all talk to each other?
Mm-hmm.
And also at the same time, it was like, it's not a big deal, but if it is a big deal to her, and maybe if that's something that he did know before, if it's a big deal to her, then maybe it would have been right for him to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like what you said, he communicated with her before and she makes a big deal out of everything, or she makes it seem like everything he does when it comes to this ex-wife is a problem. So maybe that's why he didn't want to communicate that. Whatever it is, this is an issue that I don't have to have if I date someone without a child.
Yeah.
The end.
My boyfriend sent flowers to his ex-wife on Mother's Day, and I'm having a problem with that. We didn't discuss it. He didn't tell me.
Not just my ex-wife, like the mother of my child, like the mother of my son. It was not just like, oh, I'm sending flowers to an ex. Like, I'm sending flowers to the woman who gave birth to my son.
I know that, but you should have discussed that with me. And I don't understand why it has to be flowers. Like, why couldn't he make a card and you sign it or something? It's like you're doing a romantic gesture.
No, I wanted to show. Look, again, I wanted to show my son that like his parents are cool. I don't want him to growing up thinking that like his parents hate each other.
Yeah,
right.
I would say that's actually a good thing, because he's showing his son that, you know, dad and mom still get along, and you should still treat a woman a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's fine if you guys get along, but you're also sending a confusing message by doing a romantic gesture to someone you're not with anymore.
It's not a romantic gesture. It's just me sending flowers to her. Like, this is what you do on Mother's Day.
Greg, how come you didn't tell Amy you were doing this, though? How come you kind of did this on the slide?
I mean, it just didn't seem like there was any reason for her to know. Like, I didn't realize I needed her permission to do something nice for, like, my son's mother.
Yeah.
Yay!
Absolutely. But then me, with not having an issue in that circumstance, I agree with him in a sense that there should be no problem. There should be no problem with a man being able to send a mother of his child flowers for Mother's Day. And honestly, if I was in a position, I would feel like it has absolutely nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me if you want to send her flowers or not. If anything, I would be on top of you like you sending Michelle flowers for Mother's Day, right? Even if I like the bitch or don't.
They don't have kids together, right?
I don't know. We
Craig
don't know
and
that
Tracy,
much. We don't know that much information. But your relationship with the mother of your kid has absolutely nothing to do with me. Especially if it's a healthy dynamic. The only relationship I should have with what was her name? Michelle?
Tracy.
With me, because I'm Tracy.
Okay.
So if I'm Tracy, the only relationship I should have with Michelle is hey girl, how you doing? The kids coming over? Yeah. Okay, you need everything? Yeah, girl. A very cordial, very nice relationship.
Yeah.
Ooh, Brittany, oh my God, these beautiful flowers came in from Greg. Oh wow, I'm so happy he sent you the flowers for Mother's Day. You deserve it. That's the type of relationship. Now, if I got an issue that he's sending her flowers, then there's a deeper issue here that we're not communicating. Because why does it matter? It's Mother's Day. What difference is it if it's a card, chocolates? Now, if it's a car, now him and I need to have a conversation, because where that money coming from? If it's coming from our account, I have an issue. But even so, if he has the money and if he wants to gift the mother of his kid a new car so that her little hoopty-doopty not breaking down with his baby in it, what am I going to get mad for? I don't care. I don't care, Tasha. I don't think he has to tell her. I think that it was he did her a courtesy by telling her, but I don't necessarily think he needed to. Should he have?
I don't like the courtescy thing, though.
It is a courtesy. He doesn't have to tell her.
I understand that, but I feel like they're in a relationship, and if they're going to build trust and all that stuff, it's like they can start. He could have just, honestly, I don't see the problem of him just saying like, hey, I want to get Michelle flowers for Mother's Day. Yeah. When I mean communicate, I don't mean asking permission.
No, absolutely.
I just mean like, oh, I'm going to go get Michelle flowers. You never know. Granted, I don't think Tracy is this type of woman, but you never know. She's gonna be like, oh yeah, because we love Tony. Let's get her like a bouquet thing, and y'all both get her flowers, right? Because what if you cool with Michelle?
Ideally, that's what we would like.
But I'm saying, like, granted, I don't know if what their dynamic is as a couple, but it's also like, I just think it's always important to communicate, because at the end of the day, whether she starts cursing him out or she calls into this damn radio show to discuss their problems instead of going to a couples therapist, you know?
I'm a bitch, what the fuck?
You know what I'm saying? Or I'll be like, you really gonna put me out here in time for all of America to hear our problems?
Honestly, I think the fact that they're having this issue has more to say about the dynamic, the status of their relationship as a couple than anything.
Yeah,
because I was having a conversation with you on our way here, and I said, if they were in a good, healthy relationship, there's no real reason why he wouldn't tell her in passing, oh babe, I'm getting Michelle flowers, and she'll be like, okay, cool. It's giving that there's an issue there when it comes to the baby mama, the mother of his child. It sounds like there's an issue.
And maybe he made her feel uncomfortable once upon a time.
Whatever it may be, it sounds like there's an issue there.
Yeah.
So it's not, again, this is one of those circumstances where it's not necessarily black and white. I could look at it from this perspective because I don't mind dating a man with a child.
Yeah.
But then you could look at it on the complete opposite side of the extra spectrum because it's a complete no-no for you.
Yeah.
So for me...
Or, I don't know, maybe people who don't mind, don't mind, maybe they'll feel differently. They'll feel for Tracy or whatever, but I feel like they're both weird. I feel like they're both,
to be honest,
problematic, but
I don't feel for her.
I don't feel for both of them. That's how I feel.
To be honest, I'm more on his side than I am on hers. Not saying that I cannot empathize. Like, I do empathize with what she's saying, but because it's Mother's Day, I can't get over that. It's not like it's a Tuesday and he's like, "Ooh, I'm missing Michelle. Let me send her some flowers." It's Mother's Day, and he's saying, holiday. Thank you for birthing my kid. What am I going to get mad because he's getting her flowers? It's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
If I had a kid, I would love my ex to send me flowers on Mother's Day. That's the least you could do.
But I want to know what her beef is, because maybe...
That's what I'm saying. We don't have enough information.
We don't have enough information, but I wonder what it is, because what if he did send her flowers once upon a time on a Tuesday? Maybe that's why he's just like, she's just like, yo, why? You know what I'm saying?
But the other side of that
because it's also like, you know how it's like understanding of why he may not want to tell her because she may overreact. Maybe she's overreacting because she has a reason to overreact, because he's put her in compromising situations before.
But even if she has a reason to overreact, it is Mother's Day. To me,
I feel like
what makes it and break it for me is the fact that it's Mother's Day.
I understand, but I feel like when this is why I don't want a man with kids, because I feel like if he ever put her in a compromising situation or something like that, it compromises things like that, like Mother's Day. Now you're just thinking like, oh, here's another reason for you to give her flowers. Here's another reason for you to drive and go over to her house. You know what I mean?
No,
if he didn't do it,
you're right.
You know, whatever. But I still think that I still see that if he really was like, yo, there's nothing going on between me and Michelle. We really have a good co-parenting relationship. And if she's just sitting there being an asshole.
But even if it's not a good relationship, because even if you don't have the best of relationships with an ex, on a Mother's Day, I feel like it is not wrong to say thank you for birthing my kid, even if I can't stand your motherfucking ass, bitch.
Here's the flowers.
But here's the flowers because I love my kid.
Yeah. I mean,
it's from me and Tony, from Tony and I.
Not a lot of people are that,
but not many people are that mature. And I remember I was reading the comments, and somebody in the comments said you also have to be mindful, because if the relationship with the mother of the child is not the best, and then you didn't tell me you got her flowers, and then me and her get into a little scuffle in 2-3 weeks, and then she shoves it in my face, oh, but he got me flowers, then I look stupid because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I understand that as well. So if she's problematic, then I understand that, yeah, babe, I'm going to get Michelle flowers just in case for Mother's Day so she don't pull nothing. I understand that. I absolutely understand that. But this idea that he has to ask for permission, or like he must broadcast the fact that he's getting the mother of his kid flowers for Valentine's,
because there's some people in the comments that's like he should ask for permission. I don't know about permission.
That's a grown ass man and they're not married.
I don't know about permission, but it could just have been communicated. Like when you communicate with someone, it's not necessarily asking them for permission. It's just putting it out there like, oh yeah, I'm just going to get Michelle flowers, and it's just like,
But that
okay.
also depends on how healthy of a relationship you have.
Yeah, I don't
right?
know. I mean, is it really healthy? They're calling in on a radio
That's what I'm
show.
saying. Yeah, because if it was the other way around and I was the one with a son, right? And with my partner, and I'm like, Father's Day's coming up. I'm thinking about getting Jerry a cologne. Let's go buy Jerry a cologne. I would do that, but it's because me and him don't got no beef.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me and my partner, we're on that same page.
And whoever you're with will be like, oh yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
Like,
and
let's see
also,
what type of cologne
when you
we're gonna
decide to get into a relationship with a person that has a child, you have to give time to allow to these type of things happening.
Yeah.
This is the consequence of getting in a relationship with someone that has a child.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna get in a relationship with someone that has a child, I can't be surprised when these type of things happen.
For me, when it comes to why I also will not date a guy with children, it has a lot. It doesn't really have a lot to do with like the kid itself. I think the children is like children are children, whatever. I feel like yes, but there's also certain things. It's like, for example, it's just, I guess it's inconvenient. That's how I see it. It's inconvenient for me. If I want us to go to a Christmas trip to skiing somewhere, I don't know, and you're like, oh, but I usually spend Christmas with the kids, which I would understand because like who doesn't spend Christmas with children? Like you have to. The children's holiday, I feel. And it's just like you don't. No, I mean if you have kids.
No, I'm like, I got no kids for Christmas.
If you have
so kids. I'm gonna borrow somebody's kid for Christmas.
No, if you have kids, well, technically you have a kid, you have Bella. But it's like it's that right there is like, oh well, because I have to be understanding. But it's like that's the thing. It's like you have to be understanding. It's but you don't want to be.
Exactly. But this is where it gets fucked up though. If you know that, for example, if you know you feel like how Tasha does and you get into a relationship with a man that has a child, you're fucked up.
Yes, I think so too.
And you're putting yourself in a hell of a mess that had no need to be that
So
way.
don't look at me crazy because I ghost that man.
Yeah.
And all the others that have kids, I find out.
Yeah.
Or like, but here's what I even do because he didn't say that he had kids because usually on people's profile they say they have kids. He didn't say that, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
When somebody say they have a kid,
you don't even
they
bother.
try to X.
Yeah.
I press that X button so quick. I already know it's not what I want.
Yeah.
It's not ideal for me.
Yeah. Let us guys let us know what you guys think. Are you for it? Are you not? Was Tracy right? Was she wrong? Is it gray? Is it in the grays? We don't know. Are you siding with what's his name? Craig,
are you siding with Craig?
Michelle don't even got nothing to do with this. She just in the story.
Or you're like us or the people that were listening to the story, like just looking at them like they both a hot mess.
It's because it's such an issue for no reason. It doesn't have to be an issue. If people take pride out of issues, it would not be an issure.
Yeah.
Like you gave me an example. It's like, what if she only liked flowers being given to her? She needs to get over herself.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but you're giving her a romantic gesture. A nigga that like you will give you a pen and it could be a romantic gesture. Flowers are not romantic gestures only.
Romantic gesture.
Flowers, you give flowers, Tasha. You give flowers when people graduate, when people die, when people transition, when people come out as gay, when people
when people come out as
gay, you get flowers.
People in the LGBTQ community, I'm like, they probably like, when did I ever get flowers?
Well, you should get flowers.
No flowers.
They should because it's a beautiful thing. You get flowers when a baby's born.
Yeah.
You get flowers when you open your private practice. You get flowers for everything. So every motherfucker
or when
that
you do
gave
like
me
a
flowers,
performance, people throw flowers.
Right.
At you.
When you premiere a show, you get flowers. So every motherfucker that gave me flowers want to be with me.
Yeah.
Y'all bitches gave me flowers. Y'all want to be with me?
I mean, Tracy's weird. But also, I will say this though, right? If Tracy presented herself that way, Craig should have said no from the very get-go in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I personally feel like too, because I do feel like men and women be picking people and they're problematic.
Yeah.
Still picking them, knowing that it doesn't really mesh well.
Yeah.
He needs to be with someone who wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
With giving his ex-wife flowers.
But what
for
if
Mother's
Tracy
Day.
didn't present herself like that from the jump?
That's also, I mean, that could be too.
Again,
true.
And we're making all of these assumptions and stuff based on very limited information.
Yeah.
Because Tasha heard something from that. You got something from the limited information. I got something completely different from the limited information.
Mm-hmm.
From the limited information, it gave me that Tracy low-key don't like this topic about the mother of his kid.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever she's mentioned is an issue. So Craig is like, you know what? I'm going to save myself some ears. And I just ain't going to tell her. And if she find out, she find out.
It just
And
gave
it
to
is
me
what
that
it
they don't
is.
communicate enough. That's what it
But
gave to me. And that, child, this is exactly why I don't want a man with kids. Oh,
I
that's how
don't.
feel.
Honestly, Tasha, I'm not against you with that. Ideally, I would not date a man with kids. Ideally,
But if it was like,
but if
yeah.
it were to cut, ideally, I wouldn't like it. But would I say no to a man that has a child? No,
Okay.
no. But ideally, I would prefer. My preference is no kids.
Yeah.
But if you happen to have kids, okay, well, okay. Now
I also-
the next step
Yeah.
is, how is the relationship? What are the dynamics? I will have to do some serious vetting. And if you come through the vet and you good, then I'm rolling.
Oh.
Then I'm rolling.
All right, guys. So I want you guys to follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We don't have a Facebook. We do have a Twitter, but it's struggling. But TikTok and Instagram at MajahPoint, and that is MajahPoint. Thank you very much. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening and for watching. Again, this is
Brittany M.
And I am Tasha J. And we are
Major
MajahPoint. See you later.